Hey guys, welcome back to the Personal Development Essentials podcast. Now, this is part of the Growth Mindset Movement series. Now, today we are talking about diary domination. So if you're listening to this, maybe you're a busy mum, dad, entrepreneur, whatever, right? If you have issues with working too much and you want to reclaim some time, energy, make sure you're focusing on the right tasks and all that kind of stuff, you are going to want to listen into this. Basically, we are talking about Google Calendar hacks for increased productivity and ultimately profit. And I'm joined by my very good friend and Julian Mills. Now, Julian Mills from Julian Mills Consulting. He's an Infusionsoft expert, but generally speaking, he's an all-round kind of like systems whiz, and he advises businesses and entrepreneurs on how to scale and systematize their business. And Julian is my go-to guy for all things systems. He's got a wonderful brain, which literally kind of like allows you to do a deep dive what exactly it is you're doing and how that's generating the results you're getting. So without further ado, Julian, welcome. So thank you today.
Well, thanks for that great introduction there, Paul. So I'll dive straight in and just share my screen if that's okay, yeah?
Fantastic, let's do it.
Okay, so hi guys. So now we're looking at my calendar. I'm going to show you some of the hacks that I use day to day, and Paul's been using for the last couple of weeks. So Paul will be able to give some feedback on his findings. But basically, I think a lot of people don't use the calendars, maybe in Google and also Outlook, to the best effect. And so I'm going to show you how I use it and take the tips and the ones that resonate with you and mold it to your particular situation for your business. So here we can see my calendar, and you see it looks very busy and very confusing. Yeah, but appearances can be deceptive here. So what I'm going to show you first is this calendar is like built in layers, and it really enables me to manage my time efficiently. So let me take out some of the calendars. I'll show you these one by one as I bring them in. Okay, so on a daily basis, all the green here, these are my booked in phone calls and meetings. These are meetings and phone calls. So these are, maybe you've already got these on your calendar already.
This is the business. This is making money. Yeah, this is the essentials. Yeah.
Yeah, this is essential. You've probably got a calendar that shows you when your meetings are, when your phone calls are booked in. Yeah, I've also got this plugged into my website so that people can automatically book a telephone call with me. And as soon as you do that, it just pops in here automatically scheduled for me. So these are the essential things I've got to get done. Now also, I've got another layer here called protected time. Okay, in the blue. So again, no phone calls could be automatically scheduled in this protected time. So this could be for all things, like for instance, you see here, I've got workout scheduled, yeah, in the gym. So that's 3 times a week. That time is already blocked out for me. No phone calls or meeting can be booked at that time.
Yeah, and that's such a really important one. Sorry to stop you there, Julian, just because I literally had a conversation with a business coach just the other day. She wasn't blocking out time in her calendar for herself and her downtime with her family. And she was literally running around all over the place trying to rearrange her calendar because people were booking calls in all over the place. So this is really helpful for those super busy people who are dealing with inbound kind of clients and so on. Yeah, sorry, Julian.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is protected time. So this could be holidays, taking an hour out, taking your lunches out. So making sure that time is reserved. You can see here, I've got a meeting with this company here on Friday, but there's some preparation work I've got to do beforehand. So you can see that time has been mapped out to give me time to do the work. Yeah. So things don't. So I don't suddenly arrive 10 minutes before this meeting or this call and find, sugar, I've not done what I'm supposed to do. It's already been booked out and planned in advance. You see, I've got taking my boys to jiu-jitsu here. You know, and just blocking out time for your own things, your own projects, your own marketing, just starts to give you structure to the day. And then you can take it to further levels as well. So for instance, I've got another one here, another calendar I'll bring in now. You see the dark blue. So these are all little tasks ideas of things to do. So you see here, I've got to talk to my accountant here. So
Mhm.
I've got a thing to give them a call at that time. I'm just penciling in some tasks here to write some blog posts. So throughout the day here, you see I've got some things to do later on today. These are flexible. These are ideas. These are flexible tasks. So if I don't get around to these today, I'll just move them forward to another day like that.
Love, that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see here, so I'm constantly reviewing the calendar. So during the day, what will happen is you tend to find that becomes more organized as you move the things you can move, and you're not going to get to do today, you're just moving them about. You see
Yeah.
here, and I'm constantly reviewing the days previously. So here, I've got an SEO to check some keywords on my website. If I hadn't got around to doing that, that's okay. All I'll do is just drag it into the future so things don't get forgotten to be done. Little tasks, little things like that.
And as you say, you know, you can categorize the way you put these in. So some of these flexible tasks, when you put them in your diary, if you did want to, let's say, prioritize an inbound sales call or something like that, or a consultation, you can set it up so that a flexible task will get knocked out of the way for something of a higher priority, can't you? Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. The color coding makes all the difference here because you can visually see straight away. You know, look at mine already here. You see all the important meetings and calls, the reserved out time. It just works.
That's
Let's have another layer to this. So
fantastic.
again, then you can bring in personal things in your life as well. So you see here across the top,
Mm.
this is all to do with my sons. So here, for the whole year, when I get the list from the school, I know when the school holidays start and stop. So again, I can plan into the future, days when I'm going to be with clients off-site or on-site with them rather, and I can see when the boys are on holiday or where they are or whatever I'm doing, if they've got any dentist appointments, that can all be scheduled in so I can see it. So I'm not booking calls and meetings when I need to be with
And
my
again,
boys.
the end result of all this is ultimately less stress. You know, this is taking back your time. So rather than constantly be on the back foot with, you know, the never-ending encroaching demands of life and other people's agendas eating into your time, and what you can do here, what I love about this with the color coding, I'm sure you remember that wonderful book, Seven Habits of Successful People, you know, the Stephen Covey book. Now, you know that story about, filling up a jug with stones and
Oh
rocks
yeah.
and sand and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, the sand is the little things in life which eat away at your time. If you do things wrong and you let those little things just fill up your cup, as it were, then you've got no time for the important things. So this, I love the color coding. It's like, no, family, business, flexible tasks. Love it.
Exactly. And one thing I didn't make clear before, you see here, so I've got this is actually a phone call, but imagine that was a physical meeting I've got to travel to. Yeah. So as soon as that meeting comes in, the meeting is set for time. This is between 10 to half 10 or something. But if I had to travel to that, what I'd be doing here is I'd be blocking out travel time,
Mm.
like so. I'd be changing it to protected time. It's time I need to travel. I might call it travel time or something like that. Yeah. Something like that. And you see here, so I've got a buffer now to enable me to travel. So no automated phone calls are going to be scheduled at that time. And if I'm booking another meeting, I know to protect that time because I need that time to travel to this meeting. I find that invaluable, doing that
That's
work in
really
that
good.
way.
And and again, what I love about this is, you know, when you begin to study, you know, the really successful people like Warren Buffett and so on, these people value their time over and above all things, and they learn how to say no to anything that isn't in line with their ambitions or isn't on their agenda. So they say no, they safeguard and block off their time. So literally, this seemingly simple, you know, set of Google hacks around your diary can actually have these kind of massive ripple effects over into the rest of your life. And this is why I love it so much.
Yeah. The last calendar I've got, and you can have as many as you want, depending on your customization required. Is one called books, okay? And you can see in here. So what I'm actually doing here now, as Paul will testify, the most
Yeah,
successful people have big libraries, don't they?
yeah, yeah.
Um, so what you can actually do is plan in reading books.
Mm.
Okay, so you might allocate a week to read. This is a book, I've actually already finished this book, but you can plan in a week to read a book. Okay, the beauty about this is, say I'm scheduled in here to get a train to London or go somewhere. Yeah, I immediately know if I'm on a train, I'll pack a copy of this book with me
Mm.
because I'll be using that time for on the train for say thinking, maybe a little bit of reading, and it's all adding up. And the beauty about working this way is what I will do. Uh, I might be reading the book somewhere, and I'm always looking for one or two nuggets from a book.
Mm.
I'll be reading that book, and I'll have my phone beside me, of course. So as I'm reading it, and I think that's a great point, a great nugget I want to remember. I'll actually go into the calendar and record it in here as a
Nice.
note. See, here's one, page 52, fancy new website, no good for SEO, falling into the design trap. Would you ask your interior designer to build your house? Basically, what they're saying in that book is, website designers love pretty websites,
Mm.
but
Mm.
not necessarily best for SEO. So just like that idea. So after reading a book, I'll have a whole list of these points. And then what I'll be doing is I'll be taking those points, and those points become blog posts on my blog
Love it.
as useful hints and tips. So I'm getting multiple sort of hits from doing work. And you'll see here for next week, it probably is now. I'm trying to find it. There'll be a blog post in here there'll be a record in here to write something. Here we go. Here, SEO blog post book, duct tape marketing ideas. So I've actually penciled it in as a task to write
Mm.
blog posts, create content from my website. You see here for this very good book, by the way, actually, duct tape marketing.
Mm.
You see, I've got all these points here. All these can become blog posts for me, hints and tips for my website, for my email, my automated email list. I've just started doing actually. That's
So
fantastic
really,
way of
this
working.
is using the diary, the calendar. This is the hub. This is the kind of the root of all things. Almost, you keep coming back to this, and again, the more you use it, the more you do, the better you get, the more efficient you get, and the better you get at safeguarding your time and prioritizing those things which should be prioritized. Keeping the main thing the main thing.
Definitely. I mean, one of the things I've never been able to get into, Polly, is beginning of each day writing a top 10 list of things to do. I've never really been able to work that way. But what I find is happening here with these dark blue ones, these Julian's tasks idea. You try and do as much as you can in a day, but if you don't get around to it, it's okay. Just move from here to here. Just move it to the next
Love
day.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
what you tend to find happens is the things that aren't important on that list tend to get left beside. Like you think, oh, they tend to get left behind. You see here, there's a task here which is no longer relevant, so it just doesn't move on. It just gets left behind. It's sort of filtering as you go along, and I find that valuable. It forces you just during the day, you can be constantly juggling this about.
Mm.
So obviously, you protect the time when you're meeting, but all these other things can be moving about. I find it invaluable, and I think it's a fantastic way to use both a Google Calendar and also Outlook calendars or any others you might be using. That's me done, Paul. There, yeah.
Mm.
I don't know if you have any further insights.
Fantastic. No, absolutely. And I think thank you for sharing that. So again, just takeaways for anyone who's watching this, who the whole point of this is to reclaim your time. And the thing about the modern world, I would say, we live in a golden age of information and opportunity. Such an incredible era of human history. However, the flip side of that is our attention is stretched almost beyond belief, like you wouldn't believe, and that dilutes our focus. Literally so much so, I think, the average person literally has less attention span than a goldfish these days. So it's hard. And it's interesting. There's a wonderful book, Deep Work by Cal Newport. I think he is Stanford professor. Incredible book. Now, in today's day and age, being able to write good content, whether you're a writer, a creator, an investor, you often need big blocks, big chunks of uninterrupted time. Now, what so many people do is they just cram in everything into their diary. And the number of people you can speak to who, they're working on all these other things, but they're not working on their big dream. And they're like, oh, I'll get to that once I get through this. And that's how most people live their lives, trying to tick off everything on the to-do list and then they'll get to their dream. Then they'll work on their big project or their side hustle or their big business idea. Whereas in actual fact, it's like, no, you have to fight to carve out that time for your biggest priorities. You've got to put these little kind of ring fences around, because there is a difference between, between like time and energy. And, as the day goes on, your ability to focus and do deep work and creative work diminishes. So I'm sure we're going to come back to this again, Julian, because there's so many good nuggets here. And, I've even got some new ones off you as well today here. So, so thank you for sharing that, Julian. It's always a pleasure. And if people want to find you, Julian, where can they find you?
So it's best to contact me through my website. So it's www.julianmills.co.uk. And if you want to speak, just go to the button that says schedule a call. Just schedule a 15-minute call, and you'll automatically pop up in my calendar here when you schedule a call.
Fantastic. And of course, remember, there's a wealth of resources on the Personal Development Essentials podcast, where we talk to marketing professionals, public speakers, Royal Marine Commandos, you name it. We talk to anyone and everyone, in order to help you on your journey become your best self. So this is all about using everything in your arsenal to help you on your, whether it's personal development or business journey or whatever. So thank you, Julian. Always a pleasure. And I look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you for having me on the show, Paul. Cheers.
See ya.
Thanks, bye.